admissions world is no stranger to test-optional or test-blind admissions policies. But the current pandemic, which has caused numerous test dates and thousands of test sites to be canceled over the last 7 months, makes taking the ACT or the SAT a little harder than usual. If you're a senior who is finalizing your college list or hitting the submit button on applications, or if you're a junior and you're starting to build out your initial college list, it is important to understand what these test policies mean before you get too far into the process. Hit that like button and we're going to get started on understanding all the different types of test policies out there. Hey there, my name is Carly and this channel is for college-bound high school students looking for advice and support on all things college admissions. We most commonly hear about test-optional and test-blind admissions, but there are actually a couple other policies out there if we want to get more specific. I'm going to be covering 5 different categories today. Possibly the most straightforward of the 5, colleges with a test requirement means just that. They require ACT or SAT test scores in order to be admitted. While some specific majors or academic departments do have a minimum test score, most universities and colleges do not have a minimum. However, it is best for you to research median test scores of previous admitted classes for you to compare your test scores and determine if they are above, below, or within the middle 50% so you can determine your chance of admissibility. Colleges with a test flexible policy allow students to submit test scores other than the ACT or SAT to support their application. This could be from AP tests, IB tests, or even SAT subject tests. Every college is different, so you should be sure to do your research to determine which types of scores are accepted at the colleges that you're applying to. Colleges who are test flexible are often test flexible because they want to see that proficiency in testing, but they're more amenable to how you want to demonstrate this. You might find that some colleges have a test conditional policy, which means that they will waive the testing requirement if you meet certain criteria, which could be a minimum GPA or maybe you're applying to a specific major. The admissions process basically becomes test optional for students who meet this criteria. So for test optional colleges, the policy really varies from school to school, so this description is going to be pretty vague. Usually, a test optional admissions policy means that they do not require ACT or SAT test scores in order to be considered for admission. Again, I am generalizing. Every student is different and every college is different, but here's where a little bit of strategy comes into play. If you have test scores and they are above the median 50% of previously admitted students, you might want to consider submitting those scores. If you have test scores and they are below the median 50% of previously admitted students, you might want to consider not submitting those scores. This is really important. Remember that schools who have gone test optional for admission specific to COVID may still be requiring test scores in order to be considered for merit scholarships. Test-blind colleges do not look at test scores, even if you submit them, even if you have a perfect score. This policy is much more rare than any other test policy I've shared already. Less than 80 colleges in the United States have a test-blind policy, but it is getting more and more popular every year. Keep in mind that if you're applying to multiple colleges, which you should, they're probably going to have different test policies. So even if you're applying to a couple test-blind schools, there may be others that are more on the test optional or test required side. For your test-blind applications, ensure that those applications are stellar because they're going to be focusing more on factors like GPA, essays, and extracurricular activities. Especially during this pandemic, ensure that you are fully understanding the test policies of all the colleges that you're applying to. Even divided into these 5 categories, there are still multiple types of test optional and test conditional, for example. Research, research, research. And don't feel forced to test if you and your family do not feel safe doing so. There are options for every testing situation. If you're looking for more advice and information on college admissions, click the video on your screen and I'll see you over there.